Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the I'm Always Serious News' Sunday paper program. This week's news: iOS News would like to salute our veterans. Veterans Day will be tomorrow, Monday the 11th. Thank you for your service. In tonight's news, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul says, "It's not me," and he means it. Kids now don't grow up in New York till they're 21. And Mayor Nutterbutter goes and gets himself kosher as he takes a trip abroad. Meanwhile, PLO leader Yasser Arafat, who died 9 years ago, folks, has now been found that it was poison. What were the Jews doing? And in sports, the Eagles win, the Flyers win, and the 666ers lose. But at least they went down fighting. These stories and more on this edition of the I'm Always Serious News' Sunday paper program.
It's the I'm Only Serious News Network with Dan Mahan, John Smarmy, Dave Morrow, and Darren Martinez.
First up in the news, this week, a pair of skydiving teams narrowly survived, folks, when their planes crashed in midair. All the divers and the pilots made it out safely. And a lot of them said it was the first time once they reached the ground that the questions asked weren't, why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Go figure. And as mentioned, run. Kentucky's knucklehead Senator Rand Paul has now been charged with plagiarism. Yes, he's plagiarizing his speeches, in newspaper columns he writes, and even in a book he just recently authored. Well, the Washington Times, one of the papers he writes for, they have now dropped him from their weekly column. Well, Rand Paul's excuse for all this was, it was my aide's fault. It was my aide's fault, which is another plagiarism, because that's what all politicians say. Cracker, please. And in New York, lawmakers are getting ready to pass a law that'll you won't be allowed to buy cigarettes until you're 21 years old, the same age as drinking. Of course, New York will have no problem sending 18 and 21-year-olds over to Iraq and Afghanistan to fight our wars, folks. But we're just not sure how they handle alcohol and cigarettes right now. You know what I mean? M16s and all. You know, New York lawmakers, we need to get jobs out there, all right? Not with your blowhard ideas. Yeah. In national news, too, Not So Jolly Ranchers, another one out of New York. A man was recently was arrested for carrying 6 Jolly Ranchers. Oh, yeah. Turns out the police who were arresting him thought it was crystal meth he was carrying. The man's name was Love Alontanuejo. So let's face it, he's probably guilty of something. Please.
All right, stop. All right.
Okay. And in international news, folks, Yasser Arafat, whose body was recently exhumed, was found to have been poisoned to death with polonium-210. Polonium-210. Yeah, they discovered it because 9 years after he was buried, his grave was still glowing. Yes, still glowing. Some of the suspects that are on the list, the United States, of course, and number one answer, the Jews. The Jews. Oh, yes. Also, internationally, as I mentioned, Philadelphia Mayor Nutter Butter Peanut Butter is on a trip overseas, folks. First he went and spent a few days over there in London, and now is in Israel, trying to get his kosher things together. Word is he's shopping for teachers, and a loan from the Queen. Good luck, Mayor Nutter Butter. And with more international news, folks, we go to our own John Smarmy with Smarmy's Eye on the World. Smarmy?
Dan Mahan, as in the hip-hop industry we say, big ups. Hey folks, it's your least favorite newscaster here, John Smarmy. Just a few things you have missed in the last 2 weeks since we were off. A man in China got so frustrated with his dating life, he cut off his own penis. Now, I know every man out there has been frustrated, but it's not a big deal. He's Chinese. He only lost 2 inches. Fast forward a few minutes later. Hi, folks. John Smalley here, and I'm only serious news, and I have to apologize for offending every single Chinese person out there for the statement I made on only 2 Asian people I know. Dan Luna, a retired comedian who no longer does comedy, and Hep Singh, a Chinese comedian who can't speak any English. If you're watching, I apologize. I'm very sorry. I did not mean it. Let's get to Halloween. Even though Halloween was 2 weeks ago, a little boy dressed as a Ku Klux Klan member, and he was the cutest little Klan member ever. I gotta tell you, all he needed was a little birdie cross, and he would have just been even more adorable. Fast forward 3 minutes later. Hey folks, John Smalley here, and I'm only serious news, and I just want to apologize deeply for all the people that I have hurt. Even though racism can be funny, I did not mean to make any Nazi comments to offend our viewers out there, even though my great-grandfather probably was a Nazi. I might have to apologize for that later, but let's keep going. And finally, a woman dressed up as one of the Boston bomber victims, and she was fired from her job. And I gotta say, folks, she has a picture out right now of her soapy breast. Her big soapy breasts all covered up. It has nothing to do with news, but I also apologize for that as well. Even though I'm a man and I love breast, you can't say that on the news. And when Tim Eli, our general manager, finds out about this, he's going to be pissed off too. Dan, I've said too much. Dan Luna, Hop Sing, America, I'm only Serious News Network. This just in, Hep Sing is actually Korean. I have to apologize again. He's not Japanese, he's Korean. I have said too much. John Smarmy, I'm only Serious News.
In local news, great news for the Philadelphia heroin addicts out there. A cure? Cracker please, I said great news. Philadelphia has recently been voted, again, the #1 city in America for the purest and cheapest heroin. And Governor Corbett continues to try and privatize Pennsylvania's state lottery system. His reasoning for that is because as our society grows older, there won't be as many people buying tickets to support the system. Well, take it from someone who sells these tickets, Governor Corbett. It is the old people who are buying them. Cracker, please. If anything, this system's going to be kicking in some real money soon, once these baby boomers get up to that age. Don't we have enough problems already without having to have him interfere with that? Speaking of interference, folks, kids at Westchester University missed out on a Halloween treat as the local pot dealer was busted a week before Halloween with pot-laced hard candy. Yeah, pot-laced hard candy. Well, don't you worry, folks, because this next holiday treat is going to be sticker-laced for the holiday season of Christmas. So by the time you're wrapping your third gift and putting that label on, you'll be buzzing. You'll be buzzing. In entertainment news, we're going to kick it over to Darren Martinez for our weekend update on what's happening in the theaters. Darren?
Thor, saw Thor, didn't like it, so what I want to do is recommend you go see Avengers, because Thor is really good in this film.
Is it the same person?
Yeah,
Oh,
same
yeah.
guy.
Wow. Can't handle a leading role, I guess, right?
There's a remake for RoboCop. The trailer's out. I'm not that excited. I suggest you go see this film, Manborg.
I like RoboCop, so.
Manborg is the opposite of what that big budget film is. This was made with $1,000 and was shot in a basement.
Damn.
And then lastly, there's a lot of news of Ben Affleck as Batman. The nerds are, they're mad.
He was terrible in that other superhero he played. What was that?
Daredevil.
Oh, he sucked that one, too.
But you know what do I say? What do I say to the nerds? Look, we've had George Clooney as Batman. We've had Val Kilmer. We've had Michael Keaton. We've had Adam West. We've had a ton of people as Batman. So, just get used to it. There will always be another Batman.
Like a James Bond guy, right?
Yeah, it's just like James Bond. You might get a guy for 3 films. You might get a guy for 1 film. Let's hope this one is a 1-filmer.
Well,
Back to you, Dan.
All right. Well, in sports this week, folks, big news is out of Miami Dolphins team headquarters, where one man has quit, another man has been laid off until further notice. Offensive lineman Richie Incognito, which feels he wished he would have followed his namesake, got into it with another lineman who quit the team, Jonathan Martin, over being bullied. Yeah, being bullied. A 350-pound, 6'5" man. Incognito has been suspended indefinitely. It's been said that he harassed Martin with things like, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say, bounces off of me and sticks to you. And of course, the one that really flipped them out was when they were in the cafeteria and Incognito said, liar, liar, your pants are on fire. And the other offensive lineman hit him with a cooler full of Gatorade to put him out. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Incognito on this, but we are sure that Martin needs to come out of the closet soon. Get over with it, make the announcement, and get back with your football career, because you can still play ball. Just don't be so homophobic about yourself. Speaking of crimes committed, former Eagle Freddie Mitchell, he of the 4th and 26th fame, for those Eagles fans out there who remember, is heading to the slammer. That's right, heading to the slammer. Mitchell has been sentenced to 37 months in prison for helping a friend write a false tax return. Meanwhile, we have our former state senator Vincent Fumo, who stole tens of millions of dollars, folks, through different charities that he chaired, banks that he started, and he got 55 months. And he let him off early, too. He's back home in his 32-room mansion. Yeah. So sorry, Freddie, but you're neither a politician nor white. That's strikes 1 and 2 for you. And strike 3 is we'll see you in 3 years. With good behavior. Also, in the NFL, it was recently reported that they must be going MMA. As the Cleveland Browns played the Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland receiver Greg Little complained after the game that he was being choked while on the bottom of the tackle pile. Choked. The offender was Indahigo, one of them Samoans, I'm sure. And the league has looked into this and is now sending the Samoan to Riley Cooper's School of Sensitivity, folks. It's a 3-day minimal course. Worked for him. True winner, though, in sports, folks. Tomorrow, the NHL will induct former Flyers coach Freddie Shero into the Hockey Hall of Fame. He once told his players to stop bitching and get out there and win the game, which they did, and won the championships, too. The only 2 Stanley Cups in Flyers history. Team owner Ed Snyder plans to take 15 former players up for the ceremonies, and it's being rumored that they're also going to catch a NHL game up there because the home team is more like a Division III team. Cracker, please. Speaking of the home team, is Flyer center and captain Claude Drew on drugs? He says he's leading a good team and feels that any day now they're going to break out. Sure, they had a breakout 4-2 win yesterday, but that was the first time in 15 straight games they haven't scored more than 2 goals. Whatever he's smoking, folks, must have affected his goal scoring too, because up until this last game, Claude Drew, going back to last season, 0 for 27 in games played. Claude, your team sucks, you've been sucking, and Holmgren's got to go. They say Eagles fans are crazy. A couple in Illinois had a bet with this past Monday night football game between the Bears and the Packers. The husband was a Bears fan, the wife a Packers fan. The deal? The loser would get tasered. Well, apparently she didn't think the husband would take it to that extreme, but he did, and tasered her twice. She later told police that she didn't think he would actually do it. She also mentioned that he's not getting laid for a month and will be sleeping in a doghouse. There you go. That'd be funny. Excuse me. And Olympic swimmer Greg Locke got blown recently, folks. Yes, got blown by a young, pretty woman who actually jumped on him when she saw him out at an arena and blew out his medial collateral ligament. Luckily, though, the Olympics are still a few years away. When asked if that was all she blew on him, the disappointed Locke said yes. What are you going to do? And speaking of sports stars and women, Tiger Woods will no longer be included on the edition of the EA Sports PGA Tour golf game for the video screens. It will be called Tiger Woods PGA Tour 14, will be his last to bear his name. However, for you fans of the game out there, the female character who chases you around with the 9-iron will still be included in future games. That's it for our wrap in sports, folks. Of course, the Eagles won today. We're happy for that. The Flyers got a win. We'll see where we're going. And the 6'6" Sixers, they're fighting strong. But next up, for some really kooky stuff, we have Dave Morrow and his Mystic Minute. Dave?
Yes, thank you, Dan. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, fans of the I'm Only Serious News Network. Welcome to your Mystic Minute with your host, Dave Morrow, unpublished author extraordinaire, black belt in psychic jujitsu, and paranormal investigative journalist supreme. It would appear that climate change recently has come to affect other realms of existence. If you're all familiar with the saying, as above, so below, it would seem in this time hell has literally frozen over at this point. I still don't think that helps the Super Bowl for the Eagles at all. I don't think that's going to... It's not.
Well, it's got to help them a bit, though.
It's one extra shot, but this has actually led to a lot of hell-owned businesses being exported here to our plane of existence. I don't know if you have ever been in a strip club run by succubi, which are female demons who feast on the sexual essence of men and thereby steal their souls slowly over time, which is a fantastic experience to pay for at $20 a pop.
Are there any other type?
That is quite true. Except these ones. Have you ever seen the movie From Dusk Till Dawn? It's a little bit like that. Except Quentin Tarantino never shows up. Cheech Marin does, though. 3 times. Has like 3 separate guys.
He smokes a lot of weed.
Yeah, I think Cheech Marin is secretly a high-level mage at this point. He hasn't revealed it. But I have encountered him a few times in my adventures. In fact, I think I might try to get in contact with him. He may have encountered Pierre LaPierre at this point. So I'll get back to you folks in the future with more on that story. This has been your Mystic Few Minutes with Dave Morrow.
Thank you, Dave, for the Mystic Minute. One of these times we're going to have to hang out. What's this just in, folks? Message for Smarmy.
Oh, this is just it. I thought I was done here. What's going on? In my earlier story, I said that Hevseg was actually Korean. But folks, I was wrong. I'm misinformed. Let me apologize for a retraction. He's actually Vietnamese. He's not Chinese, not Korean. He's Vietnamese. And I'm done. I thought I was done here. Dan, what
Just
is...
the last update.
Okay. Oh, another retraction, another apology. It's actually not Hevseg. It's Hubsong.
It's the same old song, though.
That's right. And speaking of this song and dance is over. Enough apologies. Back to you, Dan.
Well, that will wrap it up for us, folks, for this week's edition of the Sunday Paper program. Again, we'd like to extend our great thanks for the service members, men and women out there who protect us every day and whose lives were devoted to it. Those who didn't make it back, thank you for your sacrifice, and may tomorrow's Veterans Day be a great day for you all. And from the Flyers family, we also like to say thank you to belated coach Fred Shiro, and thank you for all the memories. The only one to bring us a cup, and the one to give us our moniker, the Broad Street Bullies, with the teams you put together. You'll always be remembered here, but now you're being remembered forever. Welcome to the Hockey Hall of Fame, Coach. Thank you and good night.